Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my newest patrons, John D and William F. Thank you for choosing to support the channel. First up today, we have Joe Tetmeyer sharing some images of something under wraps. So let's let the speculation fly. I guess this was being delivered to Giga, Texas. That's the word. And at first glance, you think cyber here, cyber there, and then what's going on over here? So let me know below, what do you think we're looking at? And here's a different angle for you to examine. I'm not going to share my guesses. I will leave mine down in the comments only after I see what you guys think this is. We have Family Mart becoming the first convenience store in Japan to host a Tesla supercharger, which is cool, but I'm really sharing this because given all of the recent announcements for NACS, I would expect more shop owners, convenience store owners to start looking into hosting a supercharger in the United States and North America. And on that front, hopefully in the next week or two, I'm going to have a little segment of an interview with somebody has done exactly that with some cool insight into how the process works. So stay tuned. We have Misha Charoudin, who has a very big auto following on different social medias. He was talking about the Model S Plaid at the track at the Nürburgring, saying without the track pack, it really wasn't up to snuff, but now he has somewhat of an apology for Tesla.
You know, I'm like really impressed. It's as if Elon Musk told me like, hey, well, you want €1 million if you make a positive video about my car? If only. You can still call me, but no, it's you could have seen it yourself. It was indeed good, so I stand corrected. It was not a mistake. It's more of a fact that do not track a non-track pack car, but with a track pack you can actually be safe when it comes to brakes and most importantly suspension, actually in this way. So yeah, it's actually a thing that works. It's amazing. Like I said, the car is really neutral, but yet playful. Like it does what you expect it to do.
So in short, the track pack delivers. And I know the masses may not be interested in this high performance, high price range tech, but it's cool for Tesla to impress performance enthusiasts and to develop a great brand reputation in those circles. Of course, to keep pushing the limits of battery tech and breaking stereotypes of what an electric car can do. So yeah, I think it's cool to keep up with this stuff. Plus, it's just fun to watch the Plaid rip around these cars like they're standing still. This one is kind of funny, but could also be seen as kind of a slap in the face for the owners involved. We know Tesla stopped the right-hand drive Model S and X in select markets, but they're still delivering left-hand drive Model S and X variants in the UK. And apparently with those deliveries, they're now including a new Tesla product, the Reacher. So for owners driving these left-hand drive vehicles in right-hand drive locations, they now have the ability to reach across the passenger seat with this little tool from Tesla to grab whatever, a drive-through or a ticket, something like that. I mean, only Tesla, right? From Not a Tesla app in the latest .22.5 release notes, you can see this new camera multi-view and it's labeled grid. So the thought is there may be the ability to view multiple camera angles at once. People are naturally getting excited about a potential 360 bird's eye view, but as far as I can tell, there may still be a patent on that technology. I know multiple other automakers have it, but it could be a component supplier that actually somehow has the patent. I haven't cracked that code yet. Let me know if you know below. But the word on the internet is that may be expiring sometime this summer, so I guess we'll wait and see. At the very least though, this would lead us to believe the ability to view multiple camera angles at once in one view should be coming soon. For what it's worth, there's also speculation out there that Tesla's lack of camera on the front bumper is what's really limiting the full bird's eye view, that the front camera module behind the rear view mirror isn't enough. But as we just saw with the Cybertruck in Hardware 4, it looks like we might be getting that front bumper camera, so could we finally be getting a bird's eye view? There's at least a non-zero chance. TechAU on Twitter found one of these job listings on the Tesla careers page for vehicle operator. You can see 2 here in New Zealand. But as you change the location, there are a few others as well. Here's 1 in Japan. We have 4 in Australia. We have 2 in the Republic of Korea and 1 more in Taiwan. Here's one of those listings in New Zealand. You can see the goal to accelerate vehicle level data collection and to help drive improvement of Tesla's autopilot system. So this global rollout paired with Dojo now looming, exciting times ahead. We don't need to spend much time here. I think most of us are already well aware of the fact that Tesla's supercharger network is significantly more reliable than competitors. It's just now we have JD Power saying as much. But some stats you may not know: 21.6% of EV drivers visiting non-Tesla public charging ports in the first quarter this year were unable to charge their vehicle. Compare that to Tesla's failure rate at 3.9%. And JD Power said, when it comes to reliability, no other provider is even close to Tesla. If you're thinking to yourself, wait, Dylan, I thought you said Tesla's supercharger network was 99.9% uptime. It is, it's just Tesla has a different methodology for calculating that number than JD Power has for this survey. I'm still out here hoping that the infrastructure law will drop the requirement to have CCS ports at these stations to get that federal funding. I'm kind of expecting it to happen, but I'm definitely not holding my breath. One of my physical goals right now is to dunk again. Most importantly though, it's to get my health back. One day soon, hopefully I'll tell you the full story, but for now I'll leave it at this. Don't ever take your health for granted. That's part of why I'd still encourage you to check out AG1, the sponsor of this video. Having spent time in the fitness industry, it's one of very few brands I can have confidence in. Huberman is on the advisory team. It's part of Lex Friedman's daily routine. The ingredient list with over 75 vitamins, minerals, and probiotics is stellar and well dosed in my humble opinion. And you can actually trust you're getting what's on the list because it's independently certified and tested, which I'll tell you is not a given these days. I'm pretty far down the tendon rabbit hole right now as I'm nursing an Achilles injury, and when you understand how complex our bodies are, it always serves as a reminder for me to feed it to the best of my ability so it has the nutrients it needs to work properly. And most of us get off track with our diets, whether it's working too much, traveling, or enjoying the finer things in life. AG1 can serve as a quick and easy option to maintain a baseline of daily nutrition in these seasons. And I don't mention taste much because it's subjective, but for what it's worth, I can genuinely sip this with nothing added and enjoy it. I've tried 5 or 6 different nutritional drinks and most of them require me holding my breath. So if you want to check it out, you can use my link below and get 5 travel packs and a 1-year supply of vitamin D3 K2 for free. It's a great way to support the channel and your health at the same time. Enjoy. I think it's been now the last 13 quarters when Tesla has released its quarterly production and delivery numbers on the 2nd of the month. So that means this coming Sunday, Tesla is set to do just that. It's usually around 9 a.m. Pacific time, which is 12 Eastern. For the expectations, here's the company compiled delivery consensus. Looking at second quarter 2023, you can see the number 446,823. Looking at the median, 444.6 thousand. For reference, deliveries in quarter 1 were over 422,000 and production was over 440,000. At the time of recording, Troy's most recent public number was 441,000, but he updated it on Patreon, and I won't give away that number. I'll just tell you it's higher, closer to the analyst expectations. And just a reminder, from a long-term perspective, these quarterly beats or misses really don't matter. But honestly, I do enjoy them. I look forward to them. I like watching everybody's reaction because Wall Street definitely will react one way or another. But again, in the long run, doesn't really matter. I don't want anybody new here getting duped with this new interview from Craig Irwin because he was actually pretty complimentary of Tesla, but he also said this.
You know, I look at Tesla, I say it's egregiously overvalued, but man, what a fantastic pioneer to drive this industry forward.
There you have it. He thinks Tesla is egregiously overvalued, but let me just remind you of what else he has said.
Craig, what do you think fair value is for this company right now?
Shouldn't be worth more than Toyota. So I think something well below 100, my price target's 85.
Your price target's $85, we're at $176 today.
I don't believe Tesla's worth more than a company like Toyota. It sells, you know, almost an order of magnitude more vehicles than they do. There's nothing.
And you don't buy the argument that Tesla ultimately could turn out to be way more than a classic automobile company?
I think those are false arguments. So the self-driving capability is something that consumes power. If you're going to have level 4 with technology that's on the drawing board today, you're going to consume just as much power for the actual ADAS system itself as you would for the drivetrain. Think about cutting the miles you can drive in half. That's actually also fairly expensive to operate, and the technology is not there. It's not safe enough. There's a lot of other things people like to point to, software, etc. I don't think Toyota can't do that. There's no reason Porsche or Daimler or someone else can't do that.
These are the times, folks, when you say, tell me you don't know what you're talking about without telling me. But honestly, what was he talking about with that power draw situation, expecting Tesla to implement some new hardware that's going to cut the range in half in order to get to level 4? Tesla already has all the hardware it needs in the car to get to level 5. At least that's what they've told us publicly. And yes, I'm well aware you can argue that hardware 3 won't be good enough. Plenty of people do. Ultimately, only time will tell, but I think you get my point. Tesla is not like the others, Craig. Tesla has elite efficiency. The Pew Research Center put out its latest poll surveying 10,300 US adults conducted at the beginning of June. Context, 74% of Americans support the country's efforts to reduce the effects of climate change. 67% of adults prioritize developing alternative renewable energy. But there is one topic under that umbrella that America is disapproving of more than they did just 2 years ago. That one, of course, is the idea to phase out gas cars and trucks by 2035. Now, 59% of Americans don't support that. Just 2 years ago, that number was 51%. And if for some reason you needed an argument to understand why all of these NACS announcements are such a big deal, well, outside of the EV bubble, most of the rest of the world still thinks the infrastructure is not being deployed fast enough, and Americans are not confident the government and these companies can get it done properly. So it's data like this that just reminds me how much educating we still have to do about home charging and range and the supercharger network and all of the things we talk about. Speaking of that, we get some pretty interesting comments from Peter Rawlinson about Tesla and the NACS. Talking about all of the hoopla around these NACS announcements, Peter said, what we're really comparing is it a screw cap or is it a cork on the bottle, not the quality of the wine? It's rather bizarre. Now, despite that, he still said Lucid would probably adopt the NACS. We talked about the voltage limitations and why I'm kind of giving Lucid some grace here. But then he also said, if you've got the most advanced technology in the world, you're a bit reluctant to risk that. And there's some truth to that. Even Monroe still says that Lucid has some of the best drivetrain components and systems on the market. But this right here, I do think is one of the most important things, and honestly, no one's really talking about it. He said, whoever controls this, talking about the charging network and the standard, if it isn't an open, impartial standard, meaning if it's owned by one company, Tesla, meaning Tesla has access to all of that consumer data, it's who owns that data, and making it genuinely open sourced, that would worry me. So kind of a double-edged sword cutting both ways. Rawlinson also believes government funding for charging infrastructure ought to be directed to slower charging overnight. A fair point. Some things to chew on at the very least. Today, GM announced an acquisition of an Israeli company, Algolian. Effectively, GM has bought all of the assets of this battery software startup. This company uses data streams from EV battery management systems to identify anomalies in cell performance, to ensure proper vehicle health management, and to detect battery hazards like propagation events, thermal runaway. They probably wish they had that tech for all those Chevy Bolt fires. Rivian has a new chief communications officer coming recently from Meta, but yes, she also served as the vice president of communications at Tesla. At Rivian, she'll oversee product, consumer, internal, and corporate communications, and she also spent time at Apple. Pretty decent resume.
XPENG, the EV maker, Chinese EV maker, surging today after it launched its new G6 Coupe SUV in China, coming in at just under $29,000. That's below the price for Tesla's Model Y, which is currently around $30,000 in China, and analysts were positive here on the pricing strategy for this new vehicle.
Just putting it on your radar as a vehicle to watch in the months to come. One more reminder for next week, no video on the 4th on Tuesday, Monday and Wednesday up in the air. Plenty of friends and family in town, want to be available to see them. I never get to, so I'm going to try to make a video, but if I don't, again, Monday and Wednesday, That's why. So with that, if I don't talk to you on Monday, hope you all have a wonderful, safe, and enjoyable weekend and 4th of July. Don't forget, check out AG1 link below. Please like the video if you did, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.